Yo, welcome everyone. This is my first ever live stream, as the title suggests. What I'm going to do today is probably just go on Splice, get some samples, and just sort of try and make something, either breaks or UKG again, as the title suggests. And yeah. Basically just want to do some like sample selection stuff because a lot of people ask me specifically about sample selection, and it's not something I give too much insight into in videos. Like I'll talk a little bit about it like now and again, but I don't really kind of give a huge insight into kind of what I'm looking for when I'm selecting my samples for the videos. Obviously a lot of the projects are like pre-made and stuff. This will obviously be a lot more off the cuff than that as well. The videos obviously require quite a lot of planning, so the idea with the streams is just be a bit more freeform, and then people can make suggestions and whatnot. Yeah. Yeah, I did a video on this a while ago, but Splice is a bit kind of impenetrable to actually find samples you want. The best way I find to do it, and I often like relay this to students and stuff, is that you go to, obviously click on sounds, you go to genres, and then you pick from the genres. So we'll do like breakbeat, and then it's usually better to go to the packs specifically, and then basically I kind of go off the album art essentially. So I choose, I'll like look at this one, this classic jungle one, and I'll be like, okay, that one looks cool. Like the white label, it's got the classic like rave smiley face, so I might select from that one. Which is basically what I'm going to do now. So I'm just going to go through, kind of audition some samples, kind of talk about maybe like why I'm picking them a little bit. A lot of this kind of is on the basis of vibes, and I'm going to use like non-raw breakbeats. Obviously, I'm just like making stuff on Splice. I was going to do like more planning and get samples together, but again, I wanted to kind of show more of this process. Yeah, so I've just got these two at the moment. I'm just going to like go through some of these, like audition some of these. You can see I've already downloaded like a few of them, probably because it was for like lessons or something. Usually as well on Splice, like it sorts by popularity. You'll be kind of aware of this. You might have heard other people say this as well, but I usually like to kind of change it to maybe to like random, and then you'll get like, you obviously won't get the most kind of common samples with the packs. Obviously these ones, when I'm searching here, does this, yeah, it does this by most popular as well. So also doing it by like most recent, I find quite useful. That dog reminds me of another dog. So yeah, then you'll get like the most recent ones, and then you're obviously less likely to maybe pick samples that are already in tunes by the other artists and whatnot. So yeah, we're gonna search. We're gonna maybe just do instrument. We'll just do drums. We'll just try and get some like breaks together first. Obviously, going to be like quite foundational to what we, if you're going to make a break track, you're probably going to start with the drums in like the majority of cases. Because I was gonna talk through what I was actually looking for with these, but yeah, I don't know. Sounds like too boomy, I think. You can obviously do things with these, obviously, like I'm not saying that these are unusable samples, but kind of just like the texture of that one. Again, there's like some like mid-range stuff going on with that one, which I'm just not really enamored with. This is the kind of one that I look at and I'm like, I might take it on like a second listen because I think maybe it could be the type of thing that's good for like layering with another break loop. Again, I mean, I suppose those two are the most similar, like the first two I picked, like this one and this one. Again, a lot of this is like, I am obviously thinking about how these are going to be like integrated into a track or whatever, but I'm not. What's the best way to describe this? Like it still is very much sort of like vibe based, I suppose. Obviously like preference based as well. Yeah, you can see that one says sub, so it has like a big sub note on it. So obviously that's potentially usable, but I generally wouldn't want to use that. You could obviously just, yeah. I mean, it's like a sub drop, so it's not going to have like too much high frequency information. So you could just filter that out if you like the drums. I do quite like the drums for that, to be fair. Actually, they kind of sound a bit too overcompressed, I think, for what, well, for how I'd like to like start with a loop. That's another thing you can kind of like think about. I've definitely had issues with people. What's the best way to describe this? I got distracted by chat, someone being like vibes. I think that you're gonna have to deal with me having like an ADHD blank moment, unfortunately, and just continue with what I'm doing. That one's kind of cool. It has, apparently I've already downloaded it, kind of because it has like, has quite a lot of like reverb and delay on it and stuff, which I don't, you can kind of get rid of that by processing it in a certain way, or by like obviously like slicing out and kind of fading things out, or by using like Ableton Drum Rack and like slicing to MIDI and stuff. But it's because it's got like, I think so much kind of delay on some of the sounds, you'd end up like sort of slicing one and then you'd still have the tail of the reverb or delay like in your next sound. But it's still kind of cool. Again, you could just cut bits out of it. You'd have to use the whole loop, obviously. I suppose I'm being quite like thorough with this as well. Obviously, if you just found like one break, you could just use one break, but I'm trying to get like a few different ones so that I have options when I come to actually take them into the project. Oh yeah, also I'm using like Splice website rather than any Splice apps on Ableton because I find it more useful to be able to do like Control F or even the proper Splice app, because the proper Splice app is kind of terrible. The website's not great either, but at least there I could be like, if I have a list of samples, I can just be like Control F and be like, oh, like break. Obviously there's going to be like loads of breaks there, but yeah. See, I'm like listening to this one now and I'm like, I don't like it, but I'd already downloaded it. So even on like a day by day basis, like the decisions that I make in terms of which samples I might want to take from a pack will be like very, very subjective. Getting quite a lot of these, like this has just like a big sub underneath it, which I kind of question why that's in the sample, but feel I'm gonna have to like move on to another sample pack like soon as well, because I feel like I'm just slating this pack at this point. But it's a good pack. Like that's why I selected it. All right, I'm gonna have a think about what I'm gonna type to sample. I'll probably do like one shots. Maybe let's use the other pack though instead. Kind of like nice and phased, which is kind of cool. Obviously, very kind of classically ravey. Again, I've got some samples from this pack before as well. Oh yeah, people ask me about like layering and stuff for breakbeat samples specifically. And what I think I've probably said, maybe in videos as well, is that like when you're looking for samples to layer with snares, like break snares, usually I won't use like electronic snares very often, because a lot of them have like a big kind of like sort of, I don't know, bump around like 100 hertz or like a bit higher, or sometimes like even a little bit lower. And I find generally that doesn't necessarily go particularly well. Like a 909 snare or something, you could definitely make it work with a breakbeat, but in general, I'll look for like rim shots. Other break snares can work quite well. Some like more so than others, but that depends on the break that you're using in the first place. So yeah, rim shots and like claps can kind of work well. Yeah, but yeah, rim shots in particular, there's something about them that seems to just layer quite well with breakbeats. So yeah, we're just looking at like drum one shots at the moment. I might get some like effects and stuff as well. We get like a kick. I mean, this is sort of a sounds like an electronic kick to me. Like I don't know if it's been like layered with a breakbeat kick, but there's something quite kind of noisy happening on top of it. Like a kick like that, I'm like, that's probably sort of too distorted. I mean, again, it's not like, it's definitely like usable, but as like a starting point, I don't necessarily want a kick that's that distorted. Like it's almost, because it's very tonal as well, it's almost like something that I'd use as a bass. I mean, obviously it's tuned, so it's got like F there. Yeah, it just says one shot low, to be fair. It doesn't say it's a kick, although it is like, it's tagged, yeah, it's tagged under kick, sub, and bass, so that kind of makes sense, because it's sort of all three. See, something like that, like, I don't know, that might work actually. I mean, I'll add it, and then if I use it, I can go totally against what I said about snares not being particularly good for layering with breakbeats. I get that. I mean, that's like, I can't remember. It's from like a drum machine. They also both seem like variations of like kind of the same sample, but with like different processing. Symbol wise, I think I'm going for, or oftentimes what's good to go for is sort of quite real sounding cymbals. So something like that, it sounds like a, I don't know, like kind of almost like a like noisy like pedal hat or something. Sort of similar vibe with that one as well. Yeah, so something like that could be cool for like a rim shot, because it's very short as well. Like sometimes samples being like more truncated, like more enveloped is usually the term that I use in terms of having like an envelope on it, like an amber envelope. Yeah, it's good for sort of leaving a space for the break snare, I suppose. Well, yeah, the break snare. Again, another like, I mean, a lot of these samples are almost like, yeah, they have that mixture of sort of fakeness, i.e., like being electronic, and sort of acousticness. I guess that kind of ties quite well with breakbeats in general. Yeah, I mean, I will definitely be doing videos that don't require splice. I just thought this was like an easy way of me starting a video rather than like me getting like a load of pre-made samples and then just kind of like making a track or like a beat off that, which I will definitely do at some point as well. I'd also say having not necessarily splice, but having like a sample based service that you can access and get samples off easily. Like if you can afford it, obviously if you can't, that's a different issue, I suppose. But it's worth like getting. I mean, even if you only have it for a bit, even if you only have it for like a few months, you can still get like 300 odd samples. But it's just yeah, it's just really convenient. Obviously for me, like working, it's super convenient, like getting stuff like for clients and whatnot. But yeah. Feel like I've sort of deceived people. Like it says break/UKG, but it's just me going through loads of different samples. Probably happy with that for the drum samples for now. I'm gonna like maybe find like a vocal or something, and then maybe I can just chuck in some of the. Actually, I don't really want to necessarily use the classic jungle sample packs because they're kind of copyright. Maybe I'll get some like one shots and stuff as well. Planning on doing like the sound design for the basses at least. Actually, yeah, let's find a different pack for vocals, I think. We're all going to be like genre based stuff, isn't it? Yeah. Instrument. I think I'm just going to end up sorting by popularity again because there's just not much. I don't know. I can have a look. I just don't feel like I want some kind of like soulful vocals. I don't necessarily. These don't look like they'll have that vocal in like from the from the artwork alone. But it's worth having a look. That also feels like it has too much effects on it, but it's quite a good like track starter, maybe.
Come on, rat-a-tat-tat, come on. Let's get.
Yeah, a lot of these I feel like, yeah, they're good track starters, but they are like there's a bit too much going on, as in it's not. I'm sure some of them will kind of give me more ability to like edit them, but they're like quite a lot of them are quite like wet as well.
I have something to tell you. I have something to.
What you call it?
What you call it? What you call it? What you call it? You got, you got. Are you ready? Are you ready? You got, you got, you got, you got, you got.
I swear if I heard that in the song, I'd just be like, this person has used Splice. I don't know why. There's just something about like, I don't know. I suppose you could probably put it in a track where I wouldn't recognize it. There's something about the vocal sampling that makes me feel like it's pre-made. That doesn't really make sense, but.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Rockin' with the beat, rockin' with the beat. With the funk. Time. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Again, just so many of these are just like, they're so processed already.
Planet. Everything.
Oh yeah.
Everything.
Well, like that one just sounds like an old, like, dubstep kind of sample or something. Like it reminds me of like early 2000s era dubstep, which isn't necessarily what I'm looking for, like, when I'm making this project.
Oh yeah. Watch me.
Sorry, just having some minor streaming issues. Apparently the stream might like buffer for people because I think I'm streaming at like the most busy part of the day in terms of people being on the internet and whatnot. So give me 1 sec. Yeah, I don't really want to end the stream. I think that's the only way I can like fix it for now. So hopefully it's something that's, if it's bothering anyone, it doesn't bother them too much.
Bass. Let me show you. Let me show you.
I just feel, yeah, I'm gonna go to a different pack. I'm gonna just use one of the other packs I've been using because I feel like these vocals, some of them kind of would work in the style, but they're too processed, and these ones don't. Like the vocal texture just, I mean, it could actually, maybe something like this could work for more of like a bicep-y style track or something. And you know, that was kind of cool, but yeah, again,
Makes me.
this is why there's something like that could be cool actually.
Makes me. Makes me.
I feel like if I do properly end up like making something today, it might be a bit generic, but yeah, I suppose that's like what happens when you use mostly Splice samples.
Wallace.
Back against the. Back against. Radio.
Video.
Okay, yeah, that's enough of that. I mean, we'll have a look at this one as well. I don't know if this is going to have like, nah, but both of the last two don't even have any. This one was one that didn't have vocals, isn't it? Go there, yeah, it doesn't there. Oops, vocal properly. Okay, it's got something. Yeah, it's just like these little ones. Neither of which I want. Yeah, I'm gonna look through a few more of these, I think, to try and get a vocal, but I could just go to like a soul or maybe like an R&B pack. yeah, I think I'm going to do that. So yeah, sounds, genres, soul. I'm not even going to use packs here. I'll do like instruments and vocals. And female.
Hold me slowly.
So yeah, I think I might not sort by most popular again.
C'est toi. You know that I don't want you. You know that I am better off alone.
I feel like
You
I've heard
know
this
that
somewhere.
I don't need you.
If I was making UKG, I mean, I
So
might just take
let
it.
me be on my own tonight.
Yeah, I might just take it and then make a decision about whether or not I just want to make a UKG thing instead. I should also, I was going to not search by. The only thing is,
Looking for you.
the ones that are popular tend to be like slightly better at least.
Loving you goes in circles, falling. Je le savais. Je le savais très bien. I love the way you get. You always jump right in, saying you're thinking that this is love. Lost in desire, you take me higher than I've ever been.
I feel like this was kind of cheesy.
Love on me like fire, temperature rising.
Just like lyrically, which would maybe not make it so good for the vocal snippets I'm using in a current project. Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of on the one hand, I'm sort of like preaching Splice like to people, being like, oh, it's really good for like getting samples quickly. But yeah, I think it's a particularly an issue with vocal samples, because with vocal samples, you do just end up, they're very recognizable, because obviously it's like the human voice, and we're literally evolved to recognize it. So that's why I like putting things in, you know, like using like Ableton granulator on things can be really cool in terms of making your vocals more unique. Obviously, like pitching them up and down. You can also kind of actually retune them using auto tune, which I have like a video on, which is useful. AI, yeah, I mean, you can also obviously use like, wait for that, better using AI and sampling. Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree in the sense of like finding acapellas, or yeah, extracting AI acapellas from actual tracks. Obviously, their site has copyright issues, so I'm not technically endorsing it, but I do it all the time. So, yeah, if you can get like obviously the OG recordings as well, that's even better. Some, because obviously AI will cause some kind of degradation on the signal, which isn't like, it can cause, it's like harder, it's basically harder to mix, and it's also like sometimes you can kind of hear it if the arrangement in your track is less busy, for example. But yeah, I mean, I think that you'll probably generally get like a better quality of performance doing those things, whereas obviously on Splice with these samples, you don't have to worry about like copyright. And obviously I'm like streaming as well, so I'm trying to kind of like be the least kind of like copyright problematic that I can.
He's so good. He's so good. Ce soir, bring it back my way. Pull up when I know you're gonna stay. Bring it back, bring it back. If I say I hate you and me, just gasp before letting me. Flutter on the wings of a butterfly. Look, I was stuck wasting all my time. You know that I don't want. Oh.
Maybe something like that. I mean, I'm kind of getting close to the stage where I feel like I actually need to kind of start making something.
And I'm getting. I don't know why. You got all I want. Ooh, sunset.
Yeah, I think the issue is that like a lot of obviously these vocals are kind of more for, what do you call it, like neo soul, like more modern styles of soul, and I guess I want something that's more like classic, because that's very much the era where a lot of like, you know, so, like classic, I guess classic like breakbeat, but you know, more kind of like modern breakbeat will also sort of like sample from. Obviously, it doesn't have to be from that era, but something that recalls that era is, well, it's sort of what I'm trying to go for, I guess, with this project.
I've been so low. I'm better off on my own. Move me. Why you gotta be Je ne peux plus. Why don't you tell me why I can't sleep at night? J'ai toujours. Okay.
All right.
No, no. You know that I don't want you.
Well, I already downloaded
Turn
this
that
one.
shit up.
This is page 2. That's a little confusing.
Cause I have no choice, so I drop. You know you've been on my mind. No. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
As well, I'm not suggesting that like these vocals are like unusable with the samples I've got either. I think it's just for like what I was intending to make.
Ooh.
I think I might just end up going for something like that. That's more of a texture than actual something that's lyrical. I'm just gonna get some effects, like from, maybe I'll get like a new pack and choose something from there. Maybe I'm just gonna then totally kind of go, well, not totally go against what I said I was gonna do, but I'm gonna go to like, I mean, I could I'll try jungle actually. I'm actually tempted to try to see if I can get any more like good vocals from this, but I don't want to spend too much. I mean, obviously vocals can kind of be effects as well, but yeah. I mean, these are, yeah, I could tell the type.
Baby girl, you
of,
don't know more, yo.
genre of vocals that these were going to be.
You may say a bad man thing, you know. Turn it up.
Which is kind of like,
You know, so one time we are
there's less
dirty
vibe
bass.
that I was
Put the needle on. Turn the volume up. Turn the volume up.
Maybe I'll look at the unit pack. For anything out 90s raid, maybe? Well, apparently that's a techno pack. You see the, like, you know, you're getting like future based stuff in here as well, so it's not very base plant jungle foundations. It sounds like the type of pack that might have the type of thing that I want. Definitely got enough drum loops though. There's not that much in this pack. It's mainly like synth lights. Kind of curious. That's enough of that for now. Let's just look at, yeah, just kind of looking for effects and that type of thing. Apparently this pack, what does it say? Test press is a first ever, yeah, it kind of does, but like, as in it does what it says, but it also doesn't really have, it only has like synth samples and stuff, which is not what I'm looking for. Maybe there's just like effects isn't a category. Right, I want to check the vocals again. Oh yeah, I think somebody.
I got some. Yeah. You got it.
I recognize that sample from the track.
You got it.
Might take this one because it might prove useful. Oh great, so the FX is a hat. That's not particularly useful to me. Surely though, I've used, or I've looked at the unit one before at least. Surely this would have some like decent effects. I could obviously make like some of these myself, but I didn't want to spend ages doing sound design. I was just going to do the basses. Sure, that's kind of what everyone like wants to see. That's usually what people usually ask me about, like bass design anyway, most of all. Well, maybe not like most of all, but it's one of the like main topics. That might be cool, just like as a sort of like ambient background thing and like an intro or something. That's cool as well. Yeah, some of these are cool. They sound like, well, a lot of these are cool, to be fair. They sound like really classic. Like that one. A lot of them, like, yeah, getting that one as well. Starting to feel like I have enough stuff. So normally what I do now is I probably like put stuff into a template from what I have here and then make something that way. But I think I might just like maybe put splice on my other screen and just drag out like various samples at various points. Might be a more kind of like straightforward way of doing things. Okay, so sorry, Ableton Totally Empty project is inherently terrifying to me, just because of like wider choice paralysis. I'm going to show Splice for a second, actually, so we can sort of look through. Some of them are like pre-downloaded as well. Okay, Splice has been like, hey, I've not actually downloaded any of these samples, which is always good. And there we go, Sync all. And it should download all of them. Is it doing it? It is doing it. Okay, good. Yo, Grace. We're gonna do the once it's finished syncing, probably start with the drums as I suggested. I don't know actually. To be fair though, I kind of like the idea of putting maybe the vocal in next because I kind of think if you want the more central, and I say this to people a lot, the more central you want an element to be to your track. This is not original advice from me as well. I heard this from someone else. First live stream ever. Yeah, first live stream ever. To be fair, I've got like I was like if I get above 10 concurrent viewers, then that's quite good. And I've been above that for most of the stream, so that's nice. What was I saying? Yeah, start with the sounds that you think are going to be most central to your track, basically. Like if you throw in your vocal like as the last thing, don't expect it to like work particularly. It might do, it can just work. Like obviously sometimes you get lucky, but you know, you should try and kind of build your track around whatever you want to be central. Does this order by the number of samples I have for each genre? I think it does. A breakbeat. Okay.
Makes me.
Do I have any Spotify profile or link? If you go to my community page on my YouTube, you can find my music. I'll link like my old SoundCloud because my new SoundCloud doesn't have. I still will post about it periodically, but they're not really like UK based style tracks. That makes sense. They're more like kind of like poppy hard dance actually. But yeah, there's my like old project. Well, kind of, I guess you'd say it's on the hiatus. I'm looking for like a drum break, aren't I? Not a vocal. Oh, nice one. Yeah, to be fair, I meant to start them between New Year and Christmas. Made a Drake track live on my second one. Oh yeah, I'll check it out actually. Yeah, once I'm off. But yeah, I mean, I got like all the equipment to do it and stuff, which is good. And I got like a new mic recently as well, so the audio quality should be pretty good. But yeah, it's just because the main reason I want to start doing it is because my content, like a lot of it is like really high effort, which is like fine, and I'm like more than happy to do that for like part of my content, but I don't want to do it for like all of my content because it just tends to like burn me out basically. And it's like I'm kind of as well like doing. I think this is like a better way of doing like full track videos and then getting the highlights. The companion app is the companion app the one that's like a VST thing and you like load it into the channel. So I was using like the website initially because I like being able to use Control F to find stuff, like in a page. I was showing that earlier, but I haven't used Stacks. The thing that I've heard about Stacks is that, and this is from like another YouTuber, was that with Stacks, like it gives you, you know, earlier what I was talking about when I'll just show you on Splice. When I was on Splice, I was like, oh, it just shows you the most popular samples, and it does that with Stacks as well, I think, from what I understand. So if you're like browsing genres and you're using the Stacks, it is a good feature to have though as well, I'd say, for Splice, because I think it's like a lot of like AI tools that are like composition or sort of like composition adjacent. Like they can be useful like starting points, and they can be good like jumping off points for making stuff. But with Splice Stacks in particular, and I think with other ones as well, like I think you have like I don't think this is AI, but you have like Captain Chords or like Bass Dragon and stuff, but that's like the Unison MIDI stuff, and obviously that has a bad reputation. That company has like a bad reputation, and from what I understand, that is somewhat justified at least. Yeah, it can just end up making things sound quite generic. So by all means, like use Splice Stack as like a starting point, but I'd be Splice Stacks as a starting point, but I'd be wary about like using it more than just a kind of like. I think it's like one of those things. It's a bit like not quite like arcade output, but I think like Stacks, stuff like, you know, arcade output, they're like really good for like producers who are like starting out as well. And I think my advice to them is usually quite different, obviously, to someone who's been producing for a while. Spice is that also link. Oh, okay, it links to Bridge. Yeah, I haven't really used Bridge at all, which is maybe like kind of a fault on my part because I just tend to use the website because, like I said, I find it a bit easier to actually search for samples on the website versus using Bridge. I think it's also part of my workflow because I tend to separate like pre-production and like so getting in my samples and like doing sound design from actually producing, and that's something that I didn't do for like years and years, and it's a more like professionalized way to do it, I suppose. Can you teach the levels? I don't know about it. What do you mean when you say the levels? you mean like how to like level like gain staging? I mean, I'll do a little bit of that now anyway, although how much longer am I? I'm probably only going to stream for like another like 45 minutes. No love for the Unison MIDI chord pack. I mean, I've just, I'm happy that I managed to slate the Unison MIDI chord pack or Unison in general on my first like live stream. I feel like it's like a streamer rite of passage for music production streamers. Yeah, the way they marketed that thing was absolutely crazy. Like, yeah, a few years ago, was it like 3 years ago? Maybe during the pandemic, like they were just like they just got all the creators to be like, get the MIDI chord pack, and like I'm not against doing like sponsored content. Like obviously I've done some, but generally I'm only going to do it for stuff that I think is like very usable, or stuff that like I'd use myself, or stuff that I suppose stuff that I would use, or stuff that I think would be good for maybe people who aren't as experienced as me. Maybe stuff, the type of stuff I would have liked to have like early on. I guess in the same way that my content is, it's kind of what I often used to say to people is like, oh, it's what I would have liked to see when I was starting producing that just didn't really exist, but it exists a lot more now anyway. But obviously my channel's been like, I started like doing videos in like 2019, so that's like over 4 years ago, like late 2019. So obviously a lot of stuff has like come to the fore since then. But yes, no love for the Unison MIDI chord pack. Oh yeah, he's like so happy about it, saying when he's like, oh, the chords are already made for you. Yeah, I mean, I heard that when I watched the video about that, I heard that the Unison MIDI chord pack was just like your most basic chord progressions, and they hadn't even done any like, like strumming or like, I suppose it wouldn't be arpeggiating. What other channels do you think are good? What in terms of the genre? I think like Max King stuff's like pretty good. I think that, oh, who else? I mean, like Stranger's quite good for like broader, like drum and bass content. Yeah, I can't think of like too many. I mean, okay, so I actually basically started the part of the model for the channel. My channel is based off Julian Earl's channel, basically, because he got project files and like sold them in the same way that I did. Obviously, I kind of started doing it for free, but then I transitioned to paid, and then I do free stuff now and again. But yeah, so like Julian Earl as well. Not that, obviously every creator has like less good videos, but I think in terms of his like output, obviously a lot of it's more like house and techno. But I think he's like, literally part of the reason why I ended up doing like, because he had a few of the videos like in the genres that I sort of ended up doing content in. But yeah, after kind of making content for a bit and then sort of like being aware of his videos and stumbling across his videos, I was like, oh, I can sort of like take inspiration from this and then kind of do it in like a different style that isn't as well catered for on YouTube. The Unison MIDI chord pack was the reason I signed up to YouTube Premium to get rid of the ads. Quite funny. Maybe they're like, it's like a collaboration. Oh, what's the name of the guy? He did a video on like the perfect donk, but he still hasn't released the serum preset for it. So I keep checking back on his channel. Like he doesn't have that much content. He's like a smaller channel than mine, but like he seems like very knowledgeable. Like he's much more knowledgeable than me about like digital audio theory and that type of thing. I kind of see myself as more of like a kind of, like composition-y guy is like the right way of putting it, but I kind of like, I always tell people to focus on those things, but then I end up going down a rabbit hole. Anyway, I'm gonna try and make some music now, because I've just been, as fun as it is to chat. I literally just did the thing again where I unclicked the genre, breakbeat, drums. Yeah, just go on YouTube and type in that. But you can basically make it in FM8 quite easily, and I have FM8 as well, but I kind of want like serum presets of everything basically, because it's just easiest. because that's just the synth that I use the most. It's like the most kind of like workhorsey and user friendly one. But it would be a specific like wavetable, like the donk wavetable, and then maybe there'd be like some FM in the actual patch. I don't know because he never released it. So I've been questing for the perfect donk for a while. So when I saw that video, and like I said, I can make it an FM8 because of that. So in a sense, you know, that at least I've managed to find the perfect donk. Oh yeah, Ned Rush is very good as well. He's very like knowledgeable, and he also makes like when I used to I do occasionally like I don't know if I must be still subscribed to him because he was one of the first like I remember one of my tutors at uni, you know, music production uni, like showed me him because that tutor was very much kind of into I guess it's like breakcore stuff, which Ned Rush well also is kind of adjacent to, I suppose. But yeah, he's entertaining and his content's very good. He's also like he's been on YouTube for like ages. Now I'm just like I don't like any of these, but I'm gonna use one anyway. Maybe I'll come to regret that, but for now. So usually if I bring a track in, there's a few things I do. I think my practices aren't actually the best for like people who are starting out. Like I'll oftentimes put like I'll often like mix into like a limiter nowadays, which I've kind of told people that doesn't need to be there. If you like proper chopped up high break stuff, check out Humans. I think I've heard of like what's the other? I can just like go through my subscriptions and look. Is it Thought Forms? Is another one. He does like jungly stuff as well. Like I think he uses like Logic and he uses like Renoise, I think it's called. So like in Logic, if I obviously see stuff in Logic, but Renoise is quite different from Ableton. But like I've seen, yeah, there's like a lot of like it is very different to like what even like 5 years ago when I started the channel. Like there's a lot of like I mean there was good content then and there was good creators who are obviously still around now, but there's like there's like even more stuff now, which is obviously like it's better for the like space, particularly like the more broad kind of like UK. Obviously my channel's not particularly like large either, but yeah, there's like a lot more going on in the space, which is cool. Right, so I'm gonna go like 150. This is the kind of thing I like. I often bring in these breaks. I wonder if I can just get more from this pack as well. Like one I like more. That one might be useful for like a kind of backgroundy thing. So yeah, no, I don't get me wrong. I'm more than happy with like the number of subs that the channel has. And yeah, for a channel in this niche, it's like, you know, sort of mid range, like, but obviously there are like bigger, you know, like I think I don't know if I'd be right in saying that like Stranger is like the biggest channel in the kind of UK bass. I mean, obviously he's more like drum and bass, which is bigger anyway, which is going to have like a bigger audience. So you know, you're looking at I think he's like over 100k. So yeah, I guess that would be like a large channel in the space. So yeah, 16k is like it's decent for like a channel that has as narrow focus as mine does. Obviously, that kind of has pitfalls as well because I'll like it kind of like narrows my content. Like there's definitely, you know, I've thought about like starting a second channel for like quite a while. I've kind of come to the live streams though as a way of like like I said, not making some of my content, and obviously I will continue with like the other videos if I have like good ideas, but nothing's really like come to the fore at the moment. But yeah, just to kind of like have things be a bit more kind of chill and try and kind of make my journey with the channel feel a bit more like regular music production than like making lots of video content, I suppose. Although, well, recently it hasn't been very much, which is, yeah, like I said, why I started doing the streams or why I'm planning on continuing with these. I didn't realize these are all like 160, 170, like 170. And this is like 155. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it requires like less planning, which is, I mean, like I said, I will do some more that are like more planned than this. This is just sort of a good way of like getting things going. But yeah, I'll check out your channel because I haven't, I wasn't aware of you until you popped up in my chat today. It was like the widest. Sorry, I know I'm playing these off screen. It's a bit confusing. I might just bring this back to the other screen to make it a bit easier, a bit more visually interesting. I think I might just use the first part of that one. See what I can do there. Yeah. Hope we don't want that. I put the limit on here. I'm going to now. I'm using 11 today. Why am I using 11? Ableton Live 11 instead of 12? I think it's to do with some like sample certain settings I have on in 11 and not in 12, but I probably will use 12 going forward because it's got some newer tools which make aspects of production easier. I'm just gonna like slice this as well. Maybe I don't even want that loop actually. I kind of like that fill at the end, but I feel like this is not repetitive enough of a rhythm to just have this looping. Don't know, there's like a kick in here as well, like when there's the fill. I guess. Should I just? I might just. I might just bite the bullet and just do the slice it to MIDI and do this bit because it's sort of annoying to do, but kind of worth it in my opinion. Just gonna save it as well, obviously, because I don't want to lose it. If I want to come back to it in future, which I imagine I probably will, considering I haven't done that much actual production today. yeah, that first kick wasn't playing because of where the transient was there. Yeah, okay, cool. Don't know where I was with this. That's about right. That one can go here. Yeah, with transients like this, it's like the zero crossing is here. So if you kind of turn it up, you can sort of see why it's put the transient there. There's a transient marker. I still feel like it should probably be here. That's the same deal for this one as well. How far in am I? I'm like halfway through. Usually I'm like quantizing the first, second, can actually do it right. Thirds, fourth beats. This one, oh yeah, should be on beats as well. What is repitch saying? Did I pitch it up by like a semitone? Nope. That's fine. Is it Ableton? It's Ableton 11 that I've got. I have 12 as well, but I just ended up using 11 to start this project off. Obviously I can move it to 12 if I want to later, but the reason I think I ended up using 11 was because sometimes when I make samples, there's like a setting where it automatically puts fades on the beginning and ends of samples. So if I do any resampling, I usually have that off if I'm doing stuff for like video content, but I have it on if I'm doing stuff for like my own music, and it's on in 11, and then it's off in 11, and then it's on in 12 at the moment. Obviously I could change that, but it's just one of those little like, it can cause problems because it can like cut the transient of like drum samples and stuff, which obviously you don't want. Yeah, to be fair, I don't know what specifically is better about FL Studio. I mean, because I technically have FL, but the only thing I use about FL Studios is the driver, because it somehow makes like a virtual output between live and my like PC output, which means that for recording and obviously for streaming as well, I can actually use it. But yeah, I know that like Ableton is a bit like behind in terms of lots of like small innovations in terms of music production workflow. And obviously this is 11 as well, so this is like an older version. So they have caught up, I think, with regards to MIDI. It will not necessarily caught up, but it's better than it was. But yeah, I mean, obviously I'm just kind of used to doing these. I would kind of wish you could just move this like without warping it, you know, like if you could just like, I don't know, is there a way to do that? For like, I press no, shift. Oh, okay. I'm please just ignore me. This is a really long way of doing things. You can just literally hold shift and do it, which I literally didn't realize until this moment. This actually makes it like way quicker. I was just wasting everyone's time. Mostly my own. That is cool though, that you can do that. I don't know why I never thought. It's like the kind of general rule in Ableton is like, if you know a command, try like shift and control to see if you can do like different versions of it. But yeah, that's gonna make it like way easier than my previous workflow. Yeah, often you've got to quantize the first hit. You could go in and like quantize stuff more as well if you want. I feel like I'm just doing another break slicing and layering video at this point, but I end up doing this. It's not that sound that hurt my ears. Like not like a massive difference. It just gets rid of those like tails and stuff. I just feel like it makes the breaks easier to slice and layer and all of that stuff. We just turn loop length to 0. Oh yeah, that's the one. So yeah, I always get confused between those two because one of them does this, and then the other one is actually like causes pops and clicks and that type of thing, doesn't it? Which is why it should be. I don't even know why it's at 100 by default. Yeah, so I'm like keeping this. I'm keeping this because I might need this later if I mess something up with the freezing and flattening with this. Oh yeah, also yeah, obviously Live 11 has freeze and flatten as an option rather than freeze and then flatten. Usually, and this is good for me having the fades off as well, like I like to consolidate as well, and then you can just get back up to the, it's way louder now because it's less dynamic. Is this one originally at 0? I don't think this one was originally like at, it wasn't originally peaking. Do you mix the break only, or do you do separate bass drum snares into different channels? It kind of depends. It's difficult now because I don't actually use breaks too much when I like produce my own music. I'll only like put them in as like layers now and again. But the way it kind of depends, right? So it's sort of this thing between, or this opposition between having things feel like more synthetic and having things feel kind of like more like real. So it's almost like the more like layering you do of samples, unless maybe if you're layering loads of acoustic samples in a certain way, it could still sound like a relatively like acousticy drum break. But generally it's going to make things sound kind of like more maybe electronic's the wrong word, but like processed, and often that will mean layering electronic samples kind of anyway. But yeah, usually I'll do some. I mean, today I was planning on doing like some form of like separation. I mean, what I often do is like, it depends. More like it's like a stylistic thing as well. Like more kind of jungly style would be like, okay, take this break and just like do something with it, and then just maybe do a bit of layering. But I might decide that actually I want to, you know, I could just resequence this as like a, for example, I don't really like this second kick. And again, I'm just gonna clone this so I have this. I think it's good to start with, or it's a workflow that gives you more freedom creatively to just start with the break and just start kind of like chopping from here. So maybe, like I said, I don't really like this bit, so I'm gonna add maybe, that's another kick though. I don't want another kick. Could try something like that. I mean, maybe that. but I need like another one of those because that's not long enough of a note. This. Kind of don't. This is with the part where I might kind of like start like being, in spite of the fact I just sort of said, oh, try and kind of keep break whole. If you're doing kind of sequencing with it to start off. In this case, I'm not going to do that because I don't really like some of the aspects of the break, like that there isn't enough like clear space, like everything is kind of close together, like there's not, and there also aren't really any. Is this a I don't even know what that is. I mean, I could put two of these here instead, but yeah, it sounds a bit weird, so I might start actually like chopping the breaks out of this instead, or chopping the kicks out of this, sorry, which I've already done, so then I can kind of maybe do like a pattern with the kicks to start with. I used to like with these as well. I do quite a lot of processing. Like might stick like drum bus on them or something. Like damp them. Yeah, and I don't think this is necessarily the best break for that process. I think originally I was planning on just selecting a bad break for what I'm trying to do. Something like really simple. Something like that. Let's try this for now. And you could also like try chopping out the snares. Again, we're going to get something more electronic by doing this. Let me put another snare somewhere. That. What is this actually? Which is sort of special requested pattern where the snare starts being on the one. Although I don't know if this necessarily works for this. Like, I don't know. We'll just go with it. With this one. That's a bit too fast as well, I think, like this. Maybe we can get rid of that one. Maybe put this here. I don't really like that there, but maybe, I don't know, something like this. That's probably the wrong sound to reverse. Maybe I'll try and reverse this one instead. Put the kick in there, actually. Is that where the kick was? There's like some weirdness going on with this break as well. Like in terms of its, I don't know, it's not really like a resonance per se, but there's just like a weird sound on it, which to be fair, you get with a lot of break beats. It's like pretty common. That's very loud. Normally I wouldn't do like a crazy amount of processing, but I'm kind of just like freewheeling this to some extent. Maybe bring in some other samples as well from the earlier splice session. What did I just do with that? Where did it go? That's here still. Okay, alright. It's making me click something else. There we go. I feel like at this point I should probably use inbuilt splice samples, but I'm just going to keep going here.
Lost in.
Oh, okay. Ooh. Ooh.
But this is going to be a really repetitive start, but
Ooh. Ooh.
oh yeah, I put the limiter. I didn't mean to. Where did I put the limiter? On one of the other channels. I'm confused now. Oh yeah, for some reason I put it on here.
Ooh. Ooh.
Gonna get turned down. I feel like this isn't gonna work super well either, but you know, kind of persevere with it. Maybe try and get one of these. Maybe just like from here. That's not what I meant to do. What note does that finish on? I think it finishes on the actual note that it's playing. Yeah, there we go. I'll make it me instead. That's actually what the note of this is. You're gonna tell me what the note of it is? D minor. Okay. Up by 2? And down by 2? Down by 1. Make it more like a Reese. Have to mono it though. Because it is like a. Should I do like a more traditional one, maybe like a, or even -15. We're doing things kind of more like this recently, where I sort of just use both oscillators and just kind of have 2 waves. Okay, that's not right. This is like a more classic way of doing things. I'm probably only going to stream for another 5 more minutes because I've got something that I have to be at soonish. So yeah, I'll just carry on with this for 5 more minutes. Yeah, vinyl's obviously good for giving tracks an older vibe, and the warp function also does this like pitch modulation thing, which is quite useful because yeah, it just kind of makes things kind of sound a bit more off. You can also get like, I like to use like Tau Chorus, which is a free plugin. I'm spelling chorus right. Tau. Yeah, which is I think based on like a Juno or something. The chorus on a Juno synth. think I definitely need like another sample there, which is not that sample, because it's too repetitive.
Okay.
That weirdly kind of works, but I don't know if it's the right sample. If I like take it down a lot in terms of bit.
Okay.
I think the idea with this one is I was just going to get like the tail. That would work as something, but not as that. Maybe try something.
Okay. Ooh.
Was that the? Oh, that is the one I used.
Oh.
Maybe that one. Is this? I'll have to get the tuner up. See what the tuner's saying. I'm gonna put. I'll probably leave it for now. I was gonna put auto tune on it, but I might take it to Ableton 12 to do that. Does it say what it is? A minor. Actually, it kind of works. I feel like if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna have to like EQ this one like differently to the first. Maybe like more. Maybe time stretch it even more. It's gonna be up 7 to get it to A. I think I'm gonna wrap things up there. Yeah. Thanks everyone for watching. I might stream again on Sunday. I think I was going to try and make Sunday evenings like my streaming day. But I think also like weekday evenings. I'm not going to have like a very clear schedule about it. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. And yeah, hopefully see you in a future stream. Yeah, big up to all my viewers and all my supporters and all my subscribers.